Welcome to Versus. If it's your first time here, hello, how are you? Comment down below, tell me where you're watching from. Tell me, have you ever seen the movie or the book that I'm about to talk about today? If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, peeps. You already know the deal. And just comment down below and tell me what's been your favorite video of mine so far. And it's greatly appreciated. If you're coming from Instagram, make sure you comment down below your handles so that I can follow you back. Today I'm going to be discussing Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Insanely popular book. It was released in 1990, and it's movie adaptation by the same name, directed by Mr. Steven Spielberg in 1993. Steven Spielberg is going to be, I think, a really big staple around Flix food and flipping pages, and it's our little channel here, Versus. I think his name is going to come up a lot. I think he has directed a lot of adaptations, and so he's going to be a little household name for us around here. The plot. Well, the book is centered around Jurassic Park. It's a theme park founded by billionaire John Hammond, who has delusions of grandeur, and his vision is to create a theme park with dinosaurs where their guests can go through a really immersive experience and really get to see what dinosaurs look like and what they act like in their natural habitat. Natural because, I mean, you know. But dinosaurs have been extinct for 65 million years, Melissa. I know. But John Hammond and his team, they find a way to genetically create, falsely create in a lab, and bring forth these majestic creatures, and thus creating what I think is simultaneously the most exciting, intriguing, and just terrifying place on Earth. Nothing like the place down south by that famous mouse we all know. He then invites a group of experts to come and check out the park, analyze what it's all about, and I think more than they see that and tell him, hey, this is gonna work, he's trying to prove to them, hey, this is gonna work, and in turn it's gonna be highly profitable for everybody involved, and it's gonna be something really brand new that nobody's even doing, right? For the most part, I think the book and the movie, they stay the same. I think Steven does a really good job of staying true to the source material and bringing that forth on the screen for us. And just remember that, you know, you're gonna argue, but what he did was amazing, and it was the 90s. So for that time period, what he was doing, you know, whether he used puppetry or anything like that, it was the first time that it was really being done on that grand scale. And let me tell you, I think he pulls it off really well. And if you don't believe me, go watch that back and then comment down below and tell me what you think. The major characters stay the same. Dr. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, Ian Malcolm, Tim and Lex, of course John Hammond, and then there are a few minor characters. Well, they're minor for the movie. They kind of stayed the same. Henry Wu, Ray Arnold, Dennis Nedry, Robert Muldoon, etc., etc. The opening shot in the book is a family. They're out on vacation. They're with their daughter. They're on this island. She strays away down the beach. She's just exploring, and she comes across a compy. At first, looks kind of cute. Looks sort of like a lizard. She doesn't really know. And soon, more compies join that one, and they attack her really badly. Well, that's the imagery in the book. it doesn't happen in the first Jurassic Park. It actually happens in the second Jurassic Park movie, The Lost World, and that image is then there. I don't know why directors do that, take tidbits and extend into other parts of the movie series, but it happens. Fun fact, Steven Spielberg actually paid Michael Crichton to write The Lost World. I don't think Michael had his intentions on doing a second book, but Steven gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. He writes The Lost World in order for Steven Spielberg to continue the movie series. So that's a little fun fact for you guys if you didn't know that. Dr. Alan Grant. He's played by Sam Neill. He has a huge role in both the book and the movie. I feel like his character, for the most part, stays the same. I think the only difference, and it's not really a huge thing, in the book, he's less grumpy, and he doesn't hate children as much as he does in Jurassic Park the movie, where he visibly just doesn't, like, why are you talking to me? For the most part, his character stays the same, and I think that's portrayed well onto the screen because he's a huge part of this story. Ellie Sattler, she's Dr. Alan Grant's partner. She also comes down with them to the island. In the book, she's younger than Alan Grant, and they have a very just mentor-mentee, teacher-student relationship. She's just trying to absorb and learn from him as much as she can. Whereas the movie, I feel like they were kind of portrayed as equals, and there's not a flirtation, but they're adults, so the chemistry is different rather than her being younger and him being much older. Tim and Lex are the kids that we see in the movie, and they have very big roles throughout that. They're John Hammond's grandchildren, who, unbeknownst to the other guests, are along for the ride, and they come to join their grandpa on the island and also check out what it's all about. Tim in the book is a little bit older, Lex is younger, and the roles are a little bit reversed. He's the computer savvy one, she's the one obsessed with dinosaurs, and then for the movie, they reverse those roles, and I think they do it effectively. Usually those things don't work when you read something and you kind of just attach to those characters. They don't really work when they switch the personalities that way, but in this case it does. Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, definitely a fan favorite, I feel like, in the movies. I don't know about the books so much, but his character stays the same. He's very just precise and analytical. He's the one that's saying, no, this is not going to work out. He's going, there's too many variables here, and we don't know how this is going to turn out, and most likely it's going to go bad. In the movie, he has sort of they give him a sex appeal. I mean, I don't know if they give him the sex appeal. Maybe that's just the way Jeff Goldblum is naturally. If you know him, I think that he's just like that naturally. In the book, he suffers injuries from dinosaurs, and then, spoiler alert, he dies from those injuries. In the movie, that doesn't happen. He does suffer injuries, and that's when we see him sprawled out, but he doesn't die. Again, I mentioned the deal with Steven Spielberg and Michael Crichton to do The Lost World, to write The Lost World. He miraculously shows up in book 2, and it said that he was just really unconscious. I don't know how unconscious you have to be to have no pulse and your death be announced and then, oh, you're back. But I suppose they just wanted to bring that character back in order to do the film series and have it be continuous. I don't know what went down there. It doesn't matter. I think Jeff Goldblum is great, and if they would have killed him off, I think the fans would have been very, very angry. Dennis Nedry. He's sort of the catalyst and the reason why things start to really go wrong. Things were gonna go wrong regardless, but he's the one that sets that into motion. He has a side deal going on with the competitors, and he turns off all the security. He wants to steal some eggs. He wants to escape the island, so he has to turn off the security and run. He ultimately runs out into the night. It's raining. It's crazy, and he meets an untimely death by a Dilophosaurus. Spits in his face. Very iconic scene. In the book, though, once that happens, they go to town on him, and the book is very like graphic when it comes to the attacks, the dinosaur attacks, and we don't see that too much in the movie. I don't think like that's like Spielberg's way. He kind of just lets the audience go with their imagination and figure out what's happening to Nedry over there, and I believe everybody's imaginations run wild, and those that read the book and then watched the movie kind of knew that that's what was going on. John Hammond. He's our billionaire founder of Jurassic Park. Two different versions for the movie and the book. In the movie, he's very charming and he's lovable and he's just simply well-intentioned, at the time. Very just naive man. And he's ultimately remorseful towards the end. We see that iconic shot and he's in the helicopter and he just looks down and he just looks very sullen and just remorseful about everything that happens. And in the book, John Hammond is not like that. He's a self-centered capitalist. He's despicable, and just his lack of recompense, he meets a less desirable fate. I'm sorry, rightfully so. When he's just startled and he falls down a hill and is devoured by compies, right? All his less desirable traits were channeled into Donald Gennaro, the lawyer for the movie, who in the book, in turn, right, is the more likable and capable person. So there's that. The list of characters who die and survive definitely do differ. We talked about Dennis Nedry, and Gennaro, Muldoon, Dr. Arnold. They all just definitely differ, and they're different. Not really major things, or they're swapped and they're put into other characters. So there's that. There are some characters that never make it onto the screen, like Ed Regis. He's the yes man to Dr. Hammond, and Dr. Marty Gutierrez, and Ed leaves one of the tour cars. It's at the climax, I feel like, in the movie. He leaves one of the tour cars, he tries to escape and leaves everybody behind, and then flees, and then ultimately dies. Well, his death is similar to the movie version of lawyer Donald Gennaro. Poor Gennaro, I feel like he just got dealt a really bad hand, right? He gets all the bad traits from John Hammond in the book, and then he gets Ed Regis' death as well, and just poor guy. The end, Jurassic Park is itself destroyed by Costa Rican Air Force. Some dinosaurs do escape, and there's just seemingly no compassion from anybody for this ecosystem that they chose to create, and for these animals that they chose to bring to life. There's just no compassion that they built this place, disturbed it, and ultimately blew it up. We weren't gonna see that, I don't think, in the movie. Again, I don't think that's in Steven Spielberg's bag to show us that. He always has to end, I feel, his movies on a lighter note, or a note with more compassion in it. So the movie doesn't end that way. Most of the main cast survives. They end up escaping on a helicopter, and they kind of look back. The dinosaurs are isolated on this island. It's said to think that they're isolated and nothing escaped. but I mean, there's a whole series, so you'll have to watch that. And they're looking back, and it's sort of life after seemingly what was a lot of death. So that's the contrast. Everything else is the same. The imagery is beautiful. The island itself is brought to life on the screen. All the animals are just great, and everything else, for the most part, again, is true to the source material, and I think Spielberg did a really wonderful job. Which one is better? Book versus movie? You know, it's really tough one. It's a really tough one, but the book has a lot of detail and a lot of things that I feel like important. Then again, I feel like the movie just took the best parts of what the book is and puts it on the screen and just really condenses it. It doesn't take away from anything, but I feel like I'm gonna go with the movie. I'm sorry, guys, for those that like the book. I enjoy the book, but I just feel like the book just has so much detail happening, and you can get really lost, especially when Ian Malcolm talks, and it's like that in the movie. He just goes on and on and on these discourses, and I just feel like the movie was just like, here are the best parts here of the book, and we're gonna put it together and present to you this amazing movie. So I'm going with movie. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also go over to Instagram, Flix Food and Flipping Pages, and follow me on there. And don't forget to keep reading. Thank you all for watching.